我係皇權集團有限公司Royalty Group 呢間公司嘅執行首席負責人。咁今晚咧，我嚟到呢個嘅會議咧，我有我個團隊同你介紹我哋喺呢個嘅地址就係31至39號 Stuart 街，對於呢個嘅休閒大麻商店嘅申請。多謝大家參與會議。
My team this evening with me is James Chan, consultant, Edward Watson, CFO, Terrence Gathers, Director of Security, Walter Sullivan, Legal Counsel, and Michael Latula, Cannabis Business Consultant.
你好，我哋今晚我哋個團隊咧係有 James Chan 陳偉文先生係我哋波士頓嘅顧問 ，Edward Watson 係我哋首席財務官 ，Terrence 係我哋嘅安全總監，同埋 Walter Sullivan 係我哋嘅法律顧問，同埋 Michael 係我哋嘅大麻業務嘅業務顧問。
Great. Lisa, we're on slide 2 now.
Okay, 1 second.
Great, thank you. I'd like to start with some general information on Royalty Group. I am the sole owner, and I am a Massachusetts state certified woman-owned business.
大家好，我今日咧想同大家分享我有關公司嘅有關信息。我係我公司嘅唯一持有者，我係一間麻州州立部門認可嘅婦女企業擁有者。
I have 15 years of Boston ties to the local community of the proposed location in the hospitality and entertainment industry.
我喺波士頓呢有15年嘅經驗咧，同呢個社區咧一齊咧係共事嘅喎。咁咧，我哋亦都係同佢哋好多嘅商戶啦，呢個酒店啦，或者好多嘅娛樂行業咧，都係有一個好好嘅一個嘅關係嘅。
Royalty Group was established in 2014, and I began my venture in the cannabis industry in 2016.
咁咧，我哋呢個嘅皇權集團咧，已經其實喺2014年咧就係成立咗啦。我哋2016年嘅時候咧，就正式進行我哋嘅大麻有關嘅行業啦。
Tree Star is the name of the Royalty Group stores, and the Boston location will be named JW Tree Star, honoring the previous entrepreneur at our proposed Boston location.
咁咧個名字咧個店鋪嘅名字叫做Tree Star， 即係星樹啦，休閒大麻商店。咁呢個名字咧，其實咧就係俾我哋對之前嗰個嘅商戶嘅一個嘅致敬嘅。
Next slide, Lisa, please. Thank you. Slide 3.
I'm trying to answer the chat as well at the same time.
Oh, my apologies.
Is it this one?
Nope, the previous one, general info. Slide 3. Yep, that's correct. Thank you. Royalty Group's core team is listed here, including the consultants specific to this project.
咁我哋咧呢個核心團隊咧就個名字都一啲列咗出嚟㗎啦。咁咧包括我哋好多嘅項目嘅顧問嘅。
Next slide, please. Our proposed cannabis retail location is the former Jacob Worth building located at 3139 Stuart Street, which is properly zoned for a marijuana retail establishment upon obtaining a special permit from the BRA.
咁我哋咧呢個嘅大麻嘅零售地點咧就係位於呢個31至39號嘅 Stuart 街啦。咁佢前身咧就係呢個 Jacob 呢個嘅威爾嘅大樓嘅喎。咁我哋正式咧就獲得咗呢個嘅規劃批准申請開設大麻商店嘅申請啦。咁樣咧就我哋亦都係咧係呢個地點咧亦都係規劃可以用零售呢個嘅大麻嘅場所嘅。呢個特別許可證咧係嚟自呢個波士頓發展重建局嘅。
Excuse me, Lisa, I believe Councillor Flynn is looking to speak.
Okay, 1 second. Let me make him.
And I believe we should, or let him in.
Councillor Flynn, you are now a panelist, so you can unmute. I'll actually unmute for you. You are unmuted, Councillor Flynn.
Okay, thank you. As the meeting was starting, I just wanted to relay some information to you from residents of Chinatown, many of them speak Cantonese or Mandarin, but they were having a difficult time trying to log into the system, the online platform. They were finally figuring out the Zoom, and then we went to a different format. So, you know, this is discouraging to do this, especially to a community that we need to do a better job on digital equity. So they're reporting difficulty joining the meeting by WebEx and by phone. Others can't hear the audio. So that's discouraging to me as their elected official. I have to make sure that their voices are heard, and that's my number one job. And if I have a meeting and their voices can't be heard, I'm not doing my job. So I'm disappointed. I'm telling everybody right now, I'm disappointed in the start of this meeting. I can't have that in my district.
Okay. I can translate that if you want.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. 大家好，我係你哋第二區嘅議員Flynn，好高興喺你哋當中。咁但係咧，原來我哋知道我哋好多嘅華埠居民咧都係上唔到嚟呢個會議喎。佢哋咧啱啱先至學到點樣去上 Zoom 嘅時候咧，你哋換咗另一個平台咧，真係令人非常之唔方便嘅。呢個咧即係呢個係一個非常之好大嘅障礙啦。咁我即係知道呢個消息咧，亦都係非常之唔高興啦，覺得嘢係非常之係唔方便啦，令人。咁我哋覺得咧，我哋呢個嘅利用呢個電子呢個平台嘅公平性咧，我哋一定要係幫助到其他人咧係上到呢個會議嘅。咁我係佢哋嘅民選官員啦，呢個事情嘅發生咧係非常之係唔好嘅。咁我唔想喺我嗰個嘅管轄嗰個區域嗰度發生呢樣，亦都係唔想見到咁樣。Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Flynn, and thank you, Anna. Just wanted to say that I know it is very difficult to use WebEx. I'm still learning, but it's just because we are required to use WebEx. We cannot use Zoom for these types of meetings, for these community meetings. And then I will bring this back to my director and talk to him about it. Anna, can you
I can translate. 佢話真係唔好意思啦，因為咧我哋係指定一定要用 WebEx 嘅，就唔可以用 Zoom 嘅，所以咧呢個問題我會同佢哋大大嘅反映啦。咁我真係非常之抱歉啦，呢個事情發生嘅，但係我會盡力去反映，等佢哋知道呢個問題嘅存在，希望下一次咧係唔會發生嘅。Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm not upset with you. You're doing a good job. I just have a responsibility for my constituents to make sure their voices are heard, and I take that responsibility seriously 100% of the time. So that's why I'm frustrated.
I completely understand, Councillor.
Okay, let me translate that. 佢話 Lisa， 我唔係指責你，我覺得你做得好好，只不過咧，即係呢個事情發生咧，係真係令人非常之係唔係咁好啦。咁我就希望我哋大家就可以改善呢個問題啦。
Councillor Flynn, if I may. I would be more than happy to do an additional one on Zoom. This is just the required setup. So as long as the required and legal is completed, I'm more than happy to utilize a platform that the community is more familiar with and redo the presentation at a time that's convenient to them. If you want to help me arrange that, I'm happy to do that. I understand. I had no idea we were using WebEx either. I've been using Zoom since day one. So anything I can do, I'm happy to. My team and I are happy to represent on a platform that works for everyone.
Okay, thank you for that offer.
Absolutely.
咁Andrea 話咧，咁其實對我嚟講，我都係第一次咧用呢個平台嘅，因為我自己都係慣用 Zoom 嘅，所以我都係學習過程中，我好樂意咧去有另外一個會議咧喺呢個 Zoom 嘅平台咧，等大家咧可以上嚟咧可以發表佢哋意見，同埋咧聽取我哋嘅介紹嘅，咁樣好唔好啊 ？OK。
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa, which slide are you on? I'm on 4. I'm halfway through 4. Where are you at?
So I have a question. Should I continue with interpretation? Are we going to have a separate meeting just for that, or what is the best?
I would leave that up to Counselor Flynn.
Okay.
Please just continue with the interpretation.
Okay. We have to continue with this when it's legal, and then I can work with Counselor Flynn to do as many more as he needs me to do.
Great.
So Lisa, slide 4.
Sorry, 1 second. I need to share it again.
Great, thank you.
Andrea, can you see it?
Yeah, okay, so I will continue from the middle. Royalty Group will need a variance for the half-mile buffer in place for being just under the half-mile buffer by 199 feet. Zoning also complies with a 500-foot buffer from existing public and private schools.
咁我哋嘅公司咧係需要有半英里嘅緩衝處咧，咁其實個距離咧就唔係話真係相差好大嘅，咁佢係低於半英里，即係199英尺嘅。咁呢個分區區域呢個分法咧，就符合咗公眾同埋私人學校為設定嗰個500個英尺嗰個緩衝區嘅。OK.
Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. These photos are of the previous business at the location, the Jacob Worth Restaurant.
咁呢啲照片咧就係之前嘅生意之前嗰個生意嗰啲嘅照片啦。
Next slide, please. Thank you. Royalty Group acknowledges that the Jacob Worth building is registered with the National Register of Historical Places, and we have engaged with different historical organizations to preserve its historical value and culture, and we plan to keep all of the historical features and include a history wall in our store honoring the location's previous business history and the owner's legacy.
咁 Royalty Group 咧，皇家集團咧就承認咧呢一個嘅大樓咧，呢個雅閣玉絲呢個之前嘅呢個大樓咧，其實係有一個非常歷史嘅文化嘅價值嘅喎。咁我哋同好多唔同嘅歷史組織咧就合作啦，就希望保持佢嘅歷史同埋文化價值嘅。咁我哋咧就希望咧計劃咧保留大部分嘅歷史特徵啦，同埋我哋話喺商店嗰度咧係擺一部咧歷史牆咧，係紀念之前業務嘅歷史啊，同埋咧去將呢個係成為一個嘅文化嘅遺產嘅。Okay.
Next slide, please. Thank you. So this slide here shows the renderings and drawings of the proposed new business layout and our preliminary designs, pending all commission and historical organization approvals.
咁你而家睇得到嘅咧就係我哋嗰啲嘅圖紙啦、圖則啦，同埋嗰個業務嗰個分佈嘅初步設計嘅。咁呢啲咧都係等待緊呢個委員會同埋歷史組織嘅批准嘅。
Next slide, please. Thank you. This location is located in the Theater District of Boston, which is a commercial area with other like businesses, including restaurants, bars, nightclubs, theaters, and hotels, all which are licensed to serve alcohol, which is another licensed and regulated business within the city and state, same as the cannabis operations.
咁我哋呢個嘅位置咧就喺呢個波士頓呢個劇院區嘅。咁其他佢有好多嘅其他商業區啦，例如餐廳啦、酒吧啦、夜總會啊、啲地方嘅劇院啊，同埋酒店等嘅企業嘅。咁呢啲咧，佢哋好多咧都係可以提供酒精呢個飲品嘅。咁咧，佢哋亦都係受監管呢個企業嘅狀態啦。咁亦都係同我哋嘅大麻企業咧係同樣係受到同樣嘅監管嘅。
Election data showed 61% voted in favor of cannabis in this district.
原來咧喺呢個嘅投票數據顯示咧，61%嘅百分比嘅人投票支持呢個大麻嘅合法化嘅。
This building has been vacant for 2 years. The location will need a feasible business operation to be successful due to financial and historical barriers to the restoration. There is also There's also the legal aspects regarding the liquor license that may prevent the location from being a restaurant that in the future that can serve liquor.
原來呢個嘅地址呢個大樓咧已經空置咗係2年㗎咯喎，因為咧佢需要一個可行嘅方案咧去再次呢個經營呢個業務嘅。由於佢喺財困同埋喺其他方面咧係需要去協助啦，咁同埋佢對於佢嘅呢個酒牌嗰個嘅問題再次去申請嘅時候咧，咁啊可能咧將來佢申請呢個酒牌咧係可能係有一啲嘅或者係其他嘅問題嘅。Thank you.
This building is in a high area of foot traffic and other high volume businesses, showing that it's the right location for a store with a high volume of visitors, as we anticipate 80% of our customers to be part of this foot traffic and 20% from vehicles.
咁呢個位置咧，亦都係即係位於喺一個非常之人流多嘅地方嘅。咁我哋亦都睇得到佢呢個嘅位置，同埋有好多嘅遊人咧，好多嘅人咧就會經過呢個嘅地段啦。咁我哋預計咧係有80%嘅人咧係會係佢哋係以步行方式咧係經過呢個商店同埋呢個地段嘅。咁係有20%嘅咧，佢哋係會揸車嘅。
There are 4 public transportation stations within 5 minutes walking distance, and there are numerous parking garages in the area as well. Next slide, please.
咁原來咧步行5分鐘咧就有4個公交嘅車站咧可以到達呢個嘅地點㗎喎。咁佢亦都有好多嘅停車嘅停車場咧係供佢哋嘅需要嘅。
Next slide, please. Perfect, thank you. We have a proposed request to BTD for a rideshare services designation outside of the building to help mitigate traffic congestion.
咁我哋咧對於 BTT 咧亦都係提出一個要求咧，就希望咧點樣可以係疏導出邊嗰啲嘅交通喎。咁咧就點樣係可以咧減輕呢個交通擠塞呢個問題嘅。
The location had a capacity of 260 persons when it was a restaurant, giving the location more than ample space inside for a large queuing area, keeping customers off the sidewalks, and ensuring that there are no lines outside causing a nuisance to the neighborhood.
當佢呢個地方係一個餐廳嘅時候咧，佢可以容納260人嘅喎。咁其實呢個地方咧，即係非常之係方便便利嘅。佢入邊咧有非常多嘅空間啦，可以容納好多嘅人啦。所以咧，相信係唔會有人係需要出面排隊嘅，同埋亦都唔會擠擁出邊嘅行人道嘅。
Our corporate office will be located on the premises above the retail store operations, allowing there to always be management on site to address any questions or concerns during operations.
我哋嘅辦公室咧，亦都係位於我哋零售商店嘅場所之內嘅喎，係上面嘅喎。咁咧，我哋有管理人員咧係喺度監管嘅。如果係有咩問題嘅時候咧，我哋係可以喺呢個嘅平時營運入邊咧係知道咧同埋解決嘅。
Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. The cannabis industry's 3 most important security concerns and focuses are 21 plus age restricted products, being a highly regulated licensed industry, and the ability in managing large volumes of people.
咁對於我哋呢個大麻商業咧，其實有3個好大嘅安全問題。第一咧就係點樣係受限制，係賣俾淨係21歲以上嘅人呢啲關於呢啲嘅產品啦。然之後咧，點樣可以喺呢個嘅行業入邊咧受到嚴格嘅監管啦，喺呢個營運之中，同埋亦都係點樣係有一個具有管理能力嘅團隊咧，去營運呢一個嘅行業嘅。
Security managers and staff of Royalty Group for this location have 10 to 20 years experience in the hospitality and entertainment industries, which have the same focuses in security. Security personnel have extensive training on handling 21 plus products, identifying fake IDs and IDs belonging to other persons, and managing high volume capacity establishments.
咁咧，我哋個團隊咧，其實咧聘請嘅人咧，就已經喺呢個嘅工作經驗咧，呢個工作經驗就10至20年㗎啦。佢哋亦都係喺呢個酒店業或者係娛樂業咧係非常資深嘅。咁啊，保安人員啦，包括咁同埋咧，佢哋係懂得去處理差唔多係21種以上嘅產品嘅，亦都係好識辨別呢個嘅假 ID 同埋一啲唔係合法嘅 ID 嘅，佢哋受過嚴格嘅廣泛嘅培訓啦，同埋佢哋係啲高質量嘅管理人員嚟嘅。
This specific team has also engaged in security operations in this specific neighborhood for over 10 years plus, having detailed knowledge of the neighborhood, knowing who's who, and working specifically with the city and its protocols, understanding the specific security needs of this operation at this location.
我哋嗰個團隊咧，亦都係參與咗，亦都好了解喺呢個地段呢個同呢個社區合作嘅重要性。喺過去嗰10年咧，對呢個地區咧有詳細了解，亦都知道邊一個係邊一個，即係對於個社區係好深入嘅了解。我哋亦都同我哋嘅市內好多嘅部門啦，亦都係緊密嘅合作，咁亦都了解到呢個嘅營運嘅安全性，亦都係去了解點樣係安全咁樣去操作。
Next slide, please. Thank you. Some of Royalty Group's actions pertaining to security measures will include specific modern-day technology applications, banking solutions and armored car services, biometric scanners for secured accesses, keeping employees up to date on all laws and regulations pertaining to cannabis specific, having the proper amount of security on site at all times, and educating customers when leaving the store about the laws pertaining to their purchase upon leaving the store.
咁我哋團隊咧，同埋我哋嘅安全措施嘅小組咧，亦都係有一連串嘅安全嘅訓練嘅行動嘅，亦都我哋利用咗咧現代嘅技術啦，例如喺啲係點樣係銀行使用嘅一啲嘅解決嘅方案啦，同埋佢哋呢個裝甲車嘅服務嘅。咁咧，另外我哋亦都用到生物特徵嘅掃描嘅技術啦，亦都係確保呢個安全嘅使用啦，亦都係。我哋亦都係幫助我哋嘅員工咧，係非常了解同大麻同埋有關嘅最新嘅法例，同埋我哋時時咧都會係提醒我哋嘅保安去了解最新嘅安全法案同埋個安全性嘅。咁所以咧我哋亦都對於呢個顧客離開我哋店鋪嘅時候，佢哋購買時嗰個嘅法律嗰個條款咧個教育咧，我哋都係好關注嘅。
Thank you. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Specific security policies pertaining to this location will include maintaining communication with Boston Police and neighborhood groups, having plans discussed with the Boston Police to limit loitering and out-of-store consumption, including working with the Boston Police Department to identify customers that may use our products outside of the store and flagging them as customers in our system and banning them from our store indefinitely.
咁我哋亦都非常關注咧，我哋嗰個嘅保持嗰個清潔同埋安全性啦。咁我哋會同我哋波士頓警隊咧係緊密合作咧，亦都係防止一啲人喺我哋店鋪同埋地段嗰度遊蕩啦，同埋係亂拋垃圾呢個問題嘅喎。咁我哋咧亦都係會係進一步咧確保我哋嘅產品咧，佢哋係售賣咗我哋產品之後咧，唔會係真係即係做到一啲好滋擾嘅問題啦，亦都係我哋亦都係會禁止一啲係 或者唔係咁恰當嘅人啊或者行為咧，想進入我哋嘅商店或者我哋嘅地段嘅。Thank you.
We have also discussed with current park rangers contributing to an additional full-time park ranger to help monitor the parks in the area.
我哋都同我哋嘅公園嘅保安啦，去進行討論咧，點樣係有一個嘅全日制嘅護林嘅一個嘅人員啦，可以咧係監管啦，同埋呢個嘅確保呢個公園嘅安全嘅。
Thank you. Next slide, please. The security system at this location will be state-of-the-art, including full coverage cameras for exterior of the building, exterior doors, and interior space throughout.
咁咧，我哋嘅安全裝置咧係最先進㗎啦。咁我哋不單止咧用呢個攝像機啦，仲要全覆蓋嘅攝像機喺建築物嘅外部、內部同埋整個嘅內部空間，我哋都係會顧及到嘅。
Employee safety includes panic buttons and a system allowing local authorities to have access for viewing the security system and the system designed for fulfilling the Massachusetts cannabis regulations set forth by the Cannabis Control Commission.
咁我哋咧亦都顧及到呢個安全嘅進一步嘅問題啦，所以我哋咧個員工咧係會有一個叫做嘅緊急按鈕啊，咁咧隨時咧當政府咧同埋佢哋都係可以咧係睇到呢個系統，係監管到呢個系統嘅，確保呢個安全啦。咁我哋亦都係去真係去審視同埋好關注我哋嗰個大麻協會制定嘅法規，我哋都係非常之遵行佢哋嘅指引嘅。
Thank you. Next slide, please. The next few slides are preliminary design layouts of what the state-of-the-art security system would entail, showing full coverage of the interior and exterior, as well as secured access points within the store. This layout is just an idea to show how the system would be laid out, filling all security requirements.
咁之後落嚟嗰幾張嘅介紹咧，其實只係一個初步嘅佈局啦。最主要咧想係展示俾大家聽個內部同埋外部佢個安全嘅重點同埋覆蓋嘅範圍嘅喺呢個商店入邊。咁呢個佈局只係想俾大家個概念，同埋展示呢一個嘅我哋點樣係完全係充分利用我哋嘅空間啦，係符合呢個安全守則嘅要求。
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. This is a security camera layout for the downstairs. Next slide, please. Security showing possible access points for controlled access. Next slide, please.
咁咧，亦都係呢啲安全嘅指示啦，俾大家知道佢哋嗰個佈局嘅。
And next slide, please.
下一張。
Perfect. Thank you. Diversion prevention is extremely important to Royalty Group and its operations. Some of the implemented procedures include having a seed to sale tracking system, which ties into the state's metric system, recording all transactions and sales.
咁咧呢個防止轉用同埋呢個特許權咧係非常之重要喎，喺我哋嘅集團同我哋嘅營運啦。咁我哋就會實施同埋通過一啲咧係與呢個係營運嘅時候咧，我哋係會有啲嘅零售喺我哋嘅系統上面咧係亦都會配合麻州嗰個嘅 metric 嗰個系統嘅，咁記錄所有交易同埋銷售嘅所有嘅情況嘅。
Having photo identification checks 2 to 3 times throughout a customer's arrival.
咁咧，顧客嚟到嘅時候咧，我哋咧要檢查佢嗰個嘅身份證啦，2次3次嘅喎。
At the front entrance, scanned in the store and data collected, and at a checkout upon purchase. If an online order is placed and paid for, they will be checked upon arrival and scanned into the system, and then pick up their product and leave.
咁如果咧佢哋喺嚟到大名嘅時候咧，咁係商店嘅門口咧，我哋會掃描咧收集佢嗰個資料嘅數據啦，同埋佢喺買嘢結帳嘅時候咧，我哋都會重新咧去檢查佢嗰個嘅身份對核嘅。咁如果佢喺線上面咧係付款嘅話咧，我哋將會有呢個掃描呢個嘅核對身份資料咧，係喺購買之前咧係會喺我哋系統上面咧進行呢個嘅驗證嘅。
All packaging will be in plain, opaque, child-resistant packages placed in discrete store bags upon exiting. Encouraging customers for online orders ensures that less cash on site and in time in the store.
咁我哋嘅包裝咧，咁係會採用呢個嘅非唔透明啦，咁啊亦都防止呢啲小朋友咧係真係可以即係接觸到呢啲嘅咁樣嘅包裝嘅。咁我哋亦都係會係將呢啲包裝咧係獨立咧係儲存啦，同埋呢個分發嘅。咁我亦都係鼓勵我哋嘅顧客咧係你盡量咧係喺網上面購物嘅時候咧係用少啲呢個現金，同埋係節省呢個時間嘅。
We will have secure strategic delivery protocols in place for product delivery.
我哋都會制定咧係呢個產品交付嗰個安全啦，同埋點樣有效地同埋戰略性咁樣咧，係喺佢哋交收嘅時候咧，有呢個最安全嘅做法嘅。
Next slide, please. Thank you. The Boston Tree Star location will carry the following cannabis products: vape cartridges, different forms of concentrates, including wax, oils, butters, hash, and rosin, multiple types of edibles, topicals, creams and salves, capsules, tinctures and sublingual forms of consumption, and loose and prepackaged flour.
咁波士頓星樹公司咧，佢哋將會係有以下嘅一啲嘅大麻嘅有關產品嘅。咁佢係一啲嘅濃縮嘅一啲嘅唔同嘅劑啦，佢有啲嘅蠟做嘅產品啦，一啲嘅精油啦，一啲嘅松香有關唔同嘅食品啦，咁係外用嘅，咁亦都係面霜啦，或者係藥膏啦，亦都係有啲嘅包裝散裝同埋包裝好嘅花嘅。
Our products will be wholesale from other manufacturers in Massachusetts that have to follow strict and robust manufacturing regulations, as well as testing regulations. Royalty Group will also produce its own products under the Tree Star brand.
咁我哋嘅產品咧會係麻州或者係其他嘅地方咧批發咧而嚟嘅喎。咁我哋非常遵從咧呢個嚴格嘅穩定嘅呢個嘅製造規條啦，同埋呢個測試嘅規則嘅。咁亦都我哋係非常之係顧及到呢個版稅嗰個嘅需要嘅。咁我哋本身咧，我哋係呢個 Tree Star 咧星樹咧自己亦都係會產生一啲自己品牌嘅產品咧。出手嘅。
Thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you. Royalty Group's focus at this location will be high-speed retail and online ordering with locker pickup system. This will allow for products to be purchased online and paid for, reducing the number of customers that stay in the store for traditional in-store shopping.
咁我哋相信咧喺呢一個店鋪咧會係一個非常之忙碌嘅零售啦，咁我哋就會使用呢個嘅儲物櫃呢個嘅喺線上購買嘅，咁個意思咁樣做咧就希望咧可以減低啲人喺個商店嗰個嘅時間，同埋減低呢個人流，佢哋可以喺上網付款，然之後係收取產品。
In-store shopping that will be done with the assistance of a salesperson in tablet product ordering.
咁而家喺店鋪內購物嘅時候咧，我哋嘅銷售人員咧，亦都會用呢個平板電腦咧，係幫助我哋嘅用戶咧，佢係購買同埋去訂購佢需要嘅產品嘅。
Next slide, please. Royalty Group's required to provide educational materials for consumers regarding public health education and product information. There will be material in multiple languages, giving the appropriate warnings on being under the influence, giving the proper education on the products being purchased, and information on signs of substance abuse.
咁我哋嘅公司咧，亦都係非常之咧，為到消費者提供一啲有關係重要嘅公共衛生嘅教育喺呢方面嘅資訊嘅喎，喺呢個嘅產品嘅信息啦。咁我哋呢啲嘅信息咧，產品嘅信息咧，亦都係有多種語言嘅提供嘅喎。咁咧，我哋希望做到咧係可以俾到一啲嘅需要人士咧有適當嘅資料同埋適當嘅警告，對於上產品使用同埋適當嘅教育，等我哋喺購買同埋係防止濫藥嘅問題上面咧，係可以得到正確嘅信息。
Customers will also be informed of the laws and penalties for possession and distribution upon leaving the store.
咁我哋嘅顧客咧，亦都係咧會知道咧關於法例嘅資料啦，同埋嘅處罰嗰啲嘅資料嘅喎，喺佢哋離開商店嘅時候，俾呢啲嘅正確嘅信息佢哋嘅。
Next slide, please. Additional business practices regarding education of cannabis products in the community will include communicating with Boston public health officials, partnering with Boston health organizations to be part of youth drug prevention programs, implementing the requirements for protection of the public health also mandated by the Cannabis Control Commission.
咁我哋對於呢個大麻產品同埋社區關注嘅教育咧，亦都係非常之顧及到喎。咁我哋會同呢個公共衛生嘅部門啦，去溝通，同埋波士頓衛生嘅組織咧，亦都合作咧，係為呢個青少年咧毒品係預防計劃咧係盡一分力嘅。點樣係努力咁樣係協助咧保護兒童咧去認識濫藥嘅問題啦，同埋我哋亦都會係遵從咧呢個大麻大麻委員會嘅公共衛生嘅指引嘅資料嘅。
We will make sure the correct labeling of products is in place, informing customers that they are products only for adults over 21, including child-proof packaging.
咁我哋咧亦都係會有啲係非常之好嘅正確嘅嘅包裝咧，喺我哋嘅產品咧嘅標籤嗰度咧，亦都係加以註明嘅喎。咁俾我哋嘅顧客知道咧，我哋呢啲產品咧係只係出售俾21歲以上嘅成年人咧，咁就防止咧兒童咧係購買啦。我哋亦都係會有一啲非常係保護，係唔俾兒童咁容易係拆到嘅一啲嘅包裝嘅。
Thank you. Next slide, please. 3 of the organizations that Royalty Group will engage with regarding public and private health organizations include the Boston Asian Youth Essential Services, the Massachusetts General Hospital City of Boston Youth Substance Use Strategic Plan, and Boston Children's Hospital ASAP program, all which are geared towards helping youth understand drug addiction and provide programs for prevention of drug abuse.
我哋嘅集團咧，亦都會同3個組織咧一齊咧去共事嘅。咁我哋咧就會同衛生組織啦，或同埋呢個亞裔青少年服務啦，喺麻州總醫院啦，同埋波士頓醫院嘅青少年點樣去利用呢個戰略計劃，同埋呢個波士頓嘅兒童醫院咧，佢哋一啲嘅計劃點樣係可以指導同埋幫助年輕人咧去了解呢個濫藥吸毒同埋防止佢哋濫藥呢一個嘅問題咧，去一齊去做呢啲計劃嘅。
Thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you. Royalty Group has spoken directly to multiple nonprofit organizations in the local neighborhood in regards to monetarily contributing to their programs, which directly impact the neighborhood for which we would operate. Those organizations are listed here on this slide.
咁我哋公司咧，亦都同我哋嘅係區內嘅好多嘅組織咧，去一齊去合作咧，點樣係可以喺我哋嘅計劃上面咧，可以係更加嘅直接嘅，係做一啲好嘅影響啦，喺我哋嘅社區上面啦。咁亦都係點樣係可以係幫助到我哋嘅社區咧，係做得更加係因為我哋嘅營運咧係得到有啲嘅正面嘅影響嘅，咁我哋係以下嘅幻燈片咧會同你哋去講一講嘅。
Next slide, please. Thank you. There are multiple opportunities in the local community that would benefit from having this type of operation in the neighborhood. Royalty Group specifically will be providing 10 to 12 full and part-time jobs to local residents and those who qualify under minorities, women, veterans, disabled, LGBTQ+, and those with drug queries for marijuana.
咁其實我哋嘅公司咧，同好多嘅唔同嘅類型嘅合作機會咧，其實都係希望咧可以從中咧幫助社區咧係得到更大嘅利益嘅。咁我哋咧亦都係咧會同我哋嘅當地居民啦，同埋一啲少數民族啦、女性啦、退伍軍人啦、殘疾人士啦、LGBTQ 啦，同埋一啲可能係犯過事或者係以前吸過毒嘅人咧，佢哋係幫助佢哋嘅。咁我哋咧亦都係咧係會聘請佢哋做工嘅喎，咁就會聘請10個至20個人嘅，係一個嘅全職同埋呢個嘅半職嘅工作。
The jobs offered will be $20 an hour plus hourly wages and with above average salary wages, and employee benefit packages will be designated by the employees.
咁呢啲工作咧嘅時薪咧係20蚊嘅，咁亦都係超過咗平時嘅一般嘅工資啦。咁我哋亦都係會俾佢哋員工嘅福利嘅。
Monetary benefits to the city include taxes for which Royalty Group will adopt a 3% tax on retail sales to the city of Boston, as well as taxes collected for property tax.
咁我哋咧亦都係會係對於我哋嗰個嘅營運咧係會係交稅啦。咁我哋會喺我哋嗰個總營運上面咧，係我哋嗰個嘅零售稅咧係有3個百分比咧係俾波士頓嘅政府嘅。我哋亦都會喺我哋嘅物業稅上面咧係抽稅咧係俾政府咧係納稅嘅。
Royalty Group will have a positive impact on the neighborhood by renovating a historical landmark and preserving it for the years ahead.
咁我哋咧亦都透過係我哋嗰個營運咧，係希望咧可以翻新咧對我哋喺區內一啲嘅富有歷史嘅文物咧，希望咧從中咧可以去保存呢啲嘅歷史文化。
Thank you. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Royalty Group's social impact and diversity plan includes hiring at least 50% of its staff that identify as minorities, women, persons with disabilities, veterans, LGBTQ+, and those incarcerated for marijuana crimes.
咁我哋嘅組織咧，公司咧就希望咧可以聘請一啲多樣性同埋係包容性嘅員工啦，係至少係有一半嘅員工咧，希望係少數民族、婦女、殘疾人士、退伍軍人、LGBTQ 同埋一啲係或者係犯嘅事以前有過犯、改過自身嘅人嘅。
25% of its employees will be hired from areas designated as disproportionate impact areas.
咁25個百分比嘅員工咧，將會係由一啲咧，或者係弱勢社群啊，或者係平時咧係得唔到人關注嘅地方嘅居民咧，我哋希望聘請佢哋嘅。
Royalty Group will be implementing our Economic Empowerment and Social Equity Incubator Program, supporting and educating EE and SE qualified persons who wish to start their own businesses in the cannabis industry.
咁我哋咧嘅小組咧，亦都希望實施咧，我哋對呢個經濟嘅改善啦，同埋呢個社會公平同埋呢個平等性嘅，我哋希望成為佢一個嘅催化器啦，係可以有助呢啲嘅正面嘅發展嘅。咁亦都透過支持教育咧，同埋呢個嘅幫助其他人咧去創業啦。咁有呢個嘅 EE 同埋 SE 嗰啲嘅合格人員啦，係等佢哋都可以係加入呢啲嘅產業嗰度。
Royalty Group will be donating at least $25,000 a year to 2 neighborhood nonprofits in Boston that are located in neighborhoods that have been disproportionately harmed by the war on drugs.
咁我哋嘅公司咧將會係咧捐款咧最少咧25,000蚊嘅，咁就係俾一啲嘅社區咧係因為毒品嘅傷害咧而係受到呢個一個唔好嘅影響嘅。我哋希望藉此咧係可以改善幫助到呢啲嘅社區。
Thank you. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Additional key points. Royalty Group is open to mitigating concerns upon commencing operations at this location and is open to a soft opening of the store before opening to the public.
咁我哋嘅公司咧，亦都係非常之關注咧，我哋喺開始營運嘅時候，對好多人咧或者係一個擔憂嚟嘅喎，所以我哋咧係會係或者咧會有一個嘅開放式嘅試業咧，係等公眾咧可以對我哋有進一步認識，先至係正式嘅開放嘅。
Royalty Group also acknowledges that most employee benefit programs are federal programs, which we cannot partake in. So we will have the employees design the benefits programs of their choice to ensure that the programs are successful and truly beneficial and used by the employees.
咁我哋公司咧，亦都係認知到咧，其實好多員工嘅福利咧，都係由聯邦計劃嗰度咧係得嚟嘅。咁其實好多人咧都無法參與啦，同埋受益呢啲嘅所謂嘅福利嘅。所以我哋嘅公司咧係另外設計咗，亦都係俾佢哋另外一啲嘅福利咧，等佢哋可以直接受惠嘅。咁亦都係嚟確保佢哋真正係受到得到呢啲嘅員工嘅利益嘅。
Next slide, please. The next 3 slides have answers to previously asked questions that have been asked at other meetings. This presentation will be available on the Royalty Group website, as well as through the city at any time for your review of these questions and answers. The website is royaltygroupllc.com.
咁咧，接下落嚟呢3張嘅幻燈片咧，其實就係之前咧有啲人提出個問題喺其他嘅會議喎。咁今晚呢個會議咧喺我哋嗰個嘅公司嘅網站咧係可以揾到之外咧，亦都喺我哋嘅市府嘅網站咧係會刊登嘅。咁有問題啦，又會刊登有人問嘅問題啦，同埋嗰啲嘅答案嘅。
And in conclusion, next slide, please. And the next slide, these can be reviewed. So we want to, on behalf of Royalty Group and our team this evening, we'd like to thank you for your time. If you have any questions or would like any additional conversations about the company and its operations, please feel free to utilize the contact information on this slide. And again, you can find this presentation on royaltygroupllc.com.
咁咧，多謝俾我哋呢個團隊咧，同你哋介紹我哋嘅公司啦。咁代表我哋嘅Royalty Group 皇權集團咧，係謹致咧係多謝大家抽空出席啦。你可以上我哋個網址查詢啦。咁關於今晚嘅會議啦，咁亦都係咧，如果你想同我哋進行進一步嘅對話咧，我哋歡迎你咧同我哋接觸嘅。多謝你哋 ，thank you。
Thank you.
Andrea, thank you. Could you put your contact information on the chat box as well, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Andrea and Anna.
Do I want to do to all attendees? Lisa?
Yes.
All attendees. Okay, thank you.
And then, before we go to question and answer, Anna, could you help me translate whenever I speak, please?
Oh yeah, okay, sure, I'm ready.
Just briefly, I wanted to, I know everyone is having issues with WebEx, and I sincerely apologize, but it's because the City of Boston and the Zoning Board of Appeals, DoIT has to have us use WebEx as one of the platforms for the community meetings.
咁咧佢話咧唔好意思啦，即係今晚我哋喺 Webex 開會啦，咁係多謝大家出席，亦都深感歉意咧，好多人咧唔能夠上到我哋嘅會議。咁咧我哋用呢個嘅 Webex 嘅平台咧，係因為咧係市府係指定嘅，同埋呢個嘅分區嗰個委員會咧，亦都係指定我哋係用呢個嘅平台嘅。咁唔好意思。
And then again, I will definitely bring this back to my office and my director tomorrow and voice this concern.
咁我咧就會進一步咧去跟進啦，同我個上司咧去話俾佢聽呢個嘅問題嘅存在咧，希望下一次咧係進一步係解決呢個問題嘅。多謝大家嘅包容。
And just so everyone knows, this is a meeting, so then the applicant can present to the community, and then we will also hear questions and then have the applicant answer.
咁咧呢個係公眾會議啦，係俾申請人咧係交代一下，同公眾交代下佢哋嗰個嘅營運公司嘅資料嘅。咁趁呢個嘅公眾會議咧，我哋都係想咧其他嘅公眾咧有機會問申請人哋一啲嘅問題嘅，我哋都係會俾申請人咧去回答公眾嘅問題。
And I want to make it clear that no decisions are being made tonight. At no time will it be like have any decisions anytime soon, because they will also need to have the zoning board schedule them for a hearing date, and then the residents and abutters and community members can still come in to voice their concerns, questions, or anything that they would like to present to the board regarding this specific proposal.
咁重新咧去講啦，就係咧今晚咧我哋呢個嘅諮詢會咧係唔會做任何實質嘅決定嘅，呢個只不過係一個嘅社區嘅公眾會議啦，咁咧呢個只不過係佢哋嘅申請人嘅程序嘅一個部分嚟嘅，即係佢哋下一步咧，亦都係會同呢個 zoning board 咧呢個嘅分區嘅委員會咧，佢哋會有進行更多嘅會議嘅。
And we will have questions and answers today, but just to clarify again, we will have, this is an open comment period, so we will still have the opportunity, you will still have the opportunity to contact me or the applicant or the Zoning Board of Appeals for any questions that you have or comments that you have.
咁樣啦，重申一次啦，我哋今晚會有問答嘅環節啦，因為呢個係公眾嘅會議。咁如果你有進一步嘅提問嘅時候，你可以同我接觸。咁之前都講過啦，咁佢哋咧呢一個嘅申請人咧，佢哋亦都下一步咧會係同呢個分區委員會咧，係佢可能係仲有一連串嘅步驟啊、上訴啊，同埋呢個會議等嘅。
And as Andrea had said earlier, and she has also mentioned to me before, they are happy to host another meeting in Chinese, and we will definitely work with Councillor Eflin's office on this.
咁同我哋之前都講過啦 ，Andrea 咧，佢亦都係非常樂意咧去重新咧，下一次咧係再一次咧係會有一個嘅會議喺呢個 Zoom 嘅平台嘅。咁我哋會同呢個愛德華議員咧係重新咧去接觸咧，諗點樣係一個最切中嘅方法咧，係有下一次嘅會議嘅。
Thank you, Anna, for interpreting.
You're welcome.
Okay, and now I will start with comments or questions on the chat. Anna, can you help me interpret that?
我而家咧就會去解答一啲嘅你哋喺呢個聊天室所發問嘅問題啦。
Okay, so first question, Anna, if I could just put on the question, and then if you could translate it, and then Andrea or her team can answer those questions, okay?
Yeah,
sure.
Sure.
Okay, so Alan, do you want me to unmute you, and then do you want to ask a question? If you could raise your hand. Alan's question was, why did you choose this location? And not only is it very historic, but impacts Chinatown residents, the Chinatown resident community.
佢問咧，Andrea 點解你要揀咧喺呢個嘅地方呢個嘅地點去營運咯？呢個不單止係一個富有呢個歷史文化價值嘅一個嘅地方啦，亦都係咧直接影響到唐人街嘅喎。
This location was chosen due to its location being with other like businesses. Nightclubs, bars, restaurants, other licensed and regulated businesses are all in that same area, keeping it with like businesses. And also because of the size of the building, allowing for inside queuing, keeping lines off the sidewalk.
咁 Andrea 咧，佢話佢呢個嘅 選址咧，其實就係因為咧，佢附近咧有好多嘅類似嘅商業咧，都係喺呢個嘅地方嘅，例如呢啲嘅晚上嘅餐廳啊、酒店啊，或者係一啲嘅夜總會啊咁樣，咁亦都係同埋選呢個地方，亦都因為佢嗰個大細嘅問題。因為呢個地方嗰個嘅嗰個嘅位置咧，入邊嗰個建築物咧，嗰個地址啦係非常之夠大嘅。咁咧就相信咧，如果係用呢個地方營運嘅時候咧，就唔會好多人喺出邊等，會係容納咗好多人。Okay.
Also, because of it being historical and needing lots of restoration, it was a building for which we felt our business could accommodate holding its historical value and culture.
咁同樣地啦，因為呢個嘅地點咧，你講得係有即係好有歷史價值嘅意義嘅。我哋相信我哋嘅工作咧，我哋嘅生意咧係可以係幫到呢個嘅地段咧，或者呢個地址咧係保存佢嘅歷史性同埋文化嘅價值嘅。
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Anna. And then, Alan, I will unmute you now, so then you can speak. Alan, you are now.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, so thank you for the response. That's good. I know you mentioned the historical location. That's true. No matter who develops that, they'll have to maintain the historic location regardless because it's historic property. But you're also moving further south in towards Chinatown. We don't have like liquor stores right there or down that area. So you are kind of pushing down to the south, or to the east, down towards Neelan Street area, and that which I think is more of a concern for Chinatown. That's what I was expressing.
Okay, so thank you. Alan 佢話咧，其實咧你講得啱，喺呢個嘅選址咧係非常之有歷史價值意義嘅。咁其實每一個商業營運嘅時候，佢哋嚟到呢個地方，佢哋選擇呢個地段，佢哋都係一定要係保育喺呢個嘅歷史同埋文化上面㗎啦。唔理係乜嘢嘅生意嘅話，咁我認為咧，你哋而家就你哋嗰個選址咧，其實就喺附近咧，唔係話有呢個嘅liquor store 就係賣酒嘅地方嘅，反而咧你係偏向咗係好近呢個利倫街咧、唐人街嗰附近咧，係對唐人街喺呢會有一個直接嘅影響嘅。呢個就係我想表達嘅意見啦。
Yes, Alan, there is one liquor store at least on Washington, located in Chinatown, right on the edge there. And having the store located with liquor establishments that serve liquor on premises is another reason why I chose it, because people will come into our store, purchase product, and leave. And it's in an area where people usually would go to a restaurant, consume liquor, and stay. So again, it's with like businesses.
咁其實我回答咧就係我哋之前都講過啊，我哋選址咧係因為附近類似我哋營運嘅商店咧，咁我哋係揀呢個地點嘅。咁我哋都講啦，喺華善寧街咧，唐人街嗰度係有一間咧係賣個酒鋪嘅。咁我哋相信咧，好多人咧都會嚟到呢個地段附近咧，或者用餐啦、去餐館啦，同埋咧係會係購買我哋或者我哋附近嘅產品，所以我揀呢個地方咧，就亦都係因為以上嗰啲原因嘅。Thank you.
Alan, do you have any more questions, or do you have a follow-up?
No, that's good. Thank you. But by the way, the hand raising thing there, I don't see the hand anymore. You guys may have just disabled hand gesture.
I see others raising their hand. It's on the right-hand side on the bottom.
Yeah, it was on mine to start, but it went away, and I don't see a way to get them back, just to let you know.
Apologies about that.
Thank you.
Let me translate first. 佢話多謝你嘅回答啦。咁同埋咧，就我睇唔到你嘅舉手嗰個圖標嗰個喺邊邊喎。咁啊 Lisa 就話咧喺右手邊嘅。咁就係啦，唔該。
喺你右手邊下邊嗰個你會見到個手嘅形象嗰個icon。你撳落去咧，佢就會同我講你要想講啲咩。 Okay, and now I will unmute Linda C. She has her hand raised, and she also has a question on the chat box as well. Linda, you are now unmute.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Andrea. So I think it's critical to put on the official record here that there would be even more community opposition at this meeting if the public wasn't literally muted, and the fact that many non-English speaking residents weren't able to get into this WebEx format. So you would have had a lot more people here expressing very serious concerns about this location if the meeting wasn't so difficult for them to access. So I guess please don't discount the community opposition that wasn't able to speak at this quote unquote official meeting. Cannabis dispensaries are wildly unpopular in this neighborhood, but you already know that. This is also not a debate about the legalization of cannabis, so it doesn't matter how many people in this district voted for that issue because it has nothing to do with this community not supporting this specific location. With that said, when do you anticipate appearing before the Boston Cannabis Board, and how much notice will you be giving the community prior to that hearing date, and how? Will you commit to notifying us at every step of the way from when you request a date and to keep us posted when it's finally confirmed?
Okay, let me
Sorry,
translate.
and I forgot you needed.
It's okay. I will try to capture my best. 咁咧，呢位女士咧，佢就話咧，首先咧，我係想咧正式咁樣咧，將我嘅意見咧係擺喺你哋嗰個嘅資料入邊咧，就係話你哋今晚咧，其實咧好多人咧係可能咧係想嚟到咧係以一個反對嘅聲音咧，同埋呢個嘅態度咧去唔去支持呢一個嘅大麻店嘅開設嘅營運嘅。咁但係因為咧你呢個嘅平台咧係非常之係好多人咧都係上唔到嚟開會啦，所以咧你唔好諗住，因為好多人上唔到嚟開會，俾唔到佢哋呢個反對意見咧，就好似係一個贊成。咁呢個係唔啱嘅。咁我亦都係想話俾大家聽咧，係其實咧開設大麻店喺呢啲地段咧係非常之唔受歡迎，你哋都知道㗎啦。咁所以咧。加上今晚嘅會議咧，係令到人哋上唔到網咧，係更加咧係有一個障礙啦。咁我而家想問嘅問題就關對呢個申請人嘅。首先咧，我想知你嗰個聽證會嗰個步驟係幾時啦，同埋你會唔會通知我哋你每一步嗰個嘅過程咧係有啲乜嘢嘅新嘅進展嘅咧？你諗住你又會有啲咩嘅方案咧，會通知我哋，同我哋去一路嘅話俾我哋聽咧
？Thank you. Would you mind repeating your questions? You had multiple ones. I want to make sure that I, first of all, answer all of them and then answer them correctly. So the first one was, when do I plan on having a BCB hearing? What was the second and third?
How much notice will you give to the community and how? So like, are we just going to find out when it's a public meeting and it's officially announced, or will you actually notify us beforehand?
The BCB hearing date will be determined by them once I submit my application.
So let me extend that too. So the Boston Cannabis Board will not schedule a hearing until I let them know that the community process has been fully done. So I will check with the community to see if any further outreach is needed, such as the Residents Association, the Neighborhood Association, the Chinatown Neighborhood Council, and the Safety Committee as well. And then some neighborhood groups if they had prior reached out to me.
Okay, let me translate first. 咁咧，Andrea 咧就問咗佢，其實你問咗佢幾個問題喎，你想問我，你可唔可以講一次個問題咧？咁第一個問題就話咧，你幾時會有諗住呢個 BCB 呢一個嘅聽證會咧？第二咧就係你點樣會通知我哋關於呢啲嘅聽證會咧？會唔會佢哋係公佈咗你先話俾我哋聽咧？咁咧，阿 Lisa 就話：我想澄清一下咧，就係如果佢嗰個聽證會咧，一定要喺呢個嘅喺呢個社區接觸嘅之後嘅，咁我哋要有一個完全嘅步驟咧，確保呢個社區嘅接觸咧，同埋呢個嘅推廣咧，或者嘅認識咧，係完全咧係過渡完成咗，即係我哋先會去下一步嘅。Okay.
And the second question was, how much notice will be given and how? Again, that is dictated through the organizations, such as the BCB. They regulate how much time needs to be given. We will follow that regulation. And how, again, is determined through them, such as the city determines abutters, flyering, and neighborhood association emails. So however they dictate it needs to be done will be how we have to do it.
咁咧，阿 Andrea 就話咧，咁我回答你嗰個我哋幾時會通知社區我哋有呢啲嘅進一步嘅聽證會咧？咁其實我哋完全咧係喺呢個被動嘅狀態。咁係佢哋呢啲嘅組織咧，政府咧話俾我聽，佢哋幾時係俾我哋有一個聽證會咧？我哋咧就會係同呢個公眾嘅公佈。咁喺呢個範疇上面咧，我哋係冇呢個嘅主導權嘅。佢通知我哋嘅時候咧，我哋就會進一步嘅回應㗎，話俾大家聽㗎啦。
Okay, just one more quick follow-up. So understanding there is a legally prescribed process that you need to follow, you could also email the community and let them know I'm submitting my application this week, right? Will you commit to doing so?
Let me translate。咁佢話咧，你係有一個法律程序咧，你要去遵從嘅喎。咁呢個你係會唔會話俾我聽？你嗰個法律程序，例如你係咪諗住係入紙咧，係正式申請咧？
Yes, of course. If Lisa receives email addresses for me to send notification to, absolutely. Absolutely.
佢話係冇錯，係一定嘅。咁如果阿 Lisa 咧會俾嘅資料我嘅電郵，我話俾我聽，我點樣去通知我哋下一步嘅法律程序咧，我一定係會跟得好足嘅。Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Do you have any further questions?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
請問你仲冇下一步問題啊？冇啦，多謝你。
And then next, I will unmute Rebecca Lee. She has her hand raised. And then just wanted to let you all know, if you are calling in, please press *3 to raise your hand and I will unmute you. 如果你係打入嚟嘅話咧，請你按星星然之後3，然之後我會開個咪俾你講。
下一個發言人係Rebecca Lee。
Rebecca, you are unmuted.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the presentation. I first want to say it's 7:30. We've listened to 45 minutes of presentation by the proponent, who was given airtime with apparently no limit on it. So there's going to be limited community participation because I'm not sure how many of my neighbors are up for being on a community meeting virtually for 2 hours. So this whole format and this whole meeting should not be considered a community meeting, in my opinion. Secondly, if it wasn't already clear, I am very opposed to this establishment. The facts and principles associated with this establishment are no different than those that existed for sanctuary medicinals at 253 Tremont Street. And I commend the decision there of the Cannabis Board to Royalty Group to read and consider, because you will have even more opposition because we're more organized now, and the facts and the statements made by the board itself in that decision are going to be applicable to this application. Third, I want to point out that it is misleading at best to name nonprofit organizations who either haven't been approached or know nothing about this and are not going to support this. And I know personally that's true for Pine Street Inn. And someone else has told me that she's spoken with St. Francis House to somehow imply that they're supportive of this proposal. If you want to donate out of the goodness of your heart, but don't use their names in these presentations to somehow imply there is some kind of community partnership with them when there is not. And finally, I'm not sure why we're supposed to be impressed that Royalty Group has committed to paying its property taxes. That was just very curious to me in your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, let me translate.
I'm sorry, I should have.
It's okay.
I apologize.
It's okay, I'll try to do my best. 咁佢話咧，我哋今日咧就聽到你咧係45分鐘嘅介紹咯，就係由你去介紹你呢間嘅呢個嘅商業嘅營運啦。咁但係你係冇任何嘅時間限制，係講你嘅嘢。但係我哋市民咧個訴求嘅時間咧就有限制。我覺得呢個係唔應該咧係成立為呢個公眾嘅會議嘅，因為係非常之唔公平。同埋咧 我想同你哋講咧，你而家喺呢個嘅地段開咧，其實同之前嗰250天滿街嗰個開設大馬咧係冇分別嘅。加上咧，我哋而家係比以前啊更加有組織力嘅，所以我哋係會更加嘅大力反對啦。咁同埋咧，你嗰個介紹講到咧，我係非常之係唔開心咧，你亦都係即係覺得係好唔啱咧，你係攞一啲嘅非牟利嘅機構嘅名字咧，係攞出嚟嘅喎。你好似係St. Francis House 啊、Pine Street Inn 呢啲咁樣嘅地方咧，呢啲嘅團體咧，你去介紹佢哋去嘅時候咧，好似覺得佢哋係默認咗係支持你嘅大麻店嘅營運咯。咁呢個係唔啱嘅，亦都有充滿呢個誤導嘅成分嘅。如果你真係想做善事嘅話，我覺得你自己可以由心咁樣去做好多嘅善事。同埋最後一點咧，就係我覺得你亦都提及到你交稅啦，我唔覺得你交稅呢樣嘢，你係應該攞出嚟講咯，因為交稅係你嘅責任嚟噶嘛。我想講嘅就係咁多。
Lisa,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa,
Lisa,
Sullivan.
if Walter may, Lisa?
Yes, go ahead, Walter.
Hi, my name is Walter Sullivan. I represent Royalty Group. Just so you understand the format, Anna?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Want me to
你好，
continue or
大
you-
家好。Thank you for giving me the time to interpret. 大家好，咁我就係我哋呢個嘅集團嘅團隊嘅成員之一啦。我就係Walter Sullivan， 我就係佢哋嘅法律顧問。
The format that we use tonight is set by the Cannabis Control Commission guidelines and regulations.
咁其實我哋今晚嗰個平台咧，會議嘅平台咧，就係由佢哋嗰個嘅大麻委員會咧，控制委員會咧係指定嘅喎。
Further, to ensure that to ensure that everyone is understanding what we're saying, we also have an interpreter, which takes a lot longer to do a meeting in.
咁亦都因為咧，我哋希望大家係明白我哋所講嘅嘢啦，所以我哋今晚亦都有翻譯員喺度咧，所以咧所以嘅會議時間咧亦都係長咗嘅。
This is the reason for the length of the meeting.
所以就係咁樣咧，呢個會議係特別係長嘅。
Thank you.
多謝。
Andrea, do you want to speak on the second part of the question?
Sure. I would like her to repeat her statement so that I can answer it appropriately, if she wouldn't mind.
咁如果可以嘅話，我希望你可以重新一問你係想我回答嘅問題，我可以再次更加好嘅回答俾你。
I'm not sure, Andrew, which part you didn't get. Do you want to speak with some specificity?
Well, as far as the format, as Walter had said, it's not chosen by us. We are told what format to use. We have times and dates that are picked accordingly by the municipality.
I understand, Andrea, but 25 slides is a lot of slides. What was your next thing you wanted to ask me about?
Let me interpret first。咁呢位嘅市民就話咧我唔知你唔明你想我重複乜嘢要問嘅問題啦。其實咧25章嘅介紹其實真係好多㗎咯。Okay.
So, having a translator was very important to Ed Flynn, as he dictated in our previous community neighborhood association meetings. So having to have this added variable is what will make these meetings this long.
No, it's not. But let's move on to the next question that you had.
Okay, sorry, let me interpret first. 咁佢話咧，其實咧，我哋有提供呢個翻譯服務咧，係我哋愛德華議員咧係非常之係鼓勵咧同埋支持嘅。咁所以我哋就有呢個翻譯員嘅服務咯，亦都係長咗呢個會議。咁呢個嘅市民就話唔緊要啦，我哋繼續問我哋嘅問題啦。
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. And then now I will unmute Paul Chan. Paul, you are unmuted.
Yeah. I'm Paul Chan. I'm a resident of Chinatown, and I want to register my strongest opposition to the location. And further, I'd like to have Andrea to specifically verify to us that she has received support from Jane Leung of YES, because my conversation with her, she indicated that there was no quid pro quo for any intended donation to YES, and she has not given any support to the location at all. Thank you.
I can answer that.
Can you want to translate for them, or want me to translate?
You want to translate?
Yeah, 我哋就咁咧，呢個嘅陳先生咧，咁就佢就問咗個問題，佢話我係一個華埠居民啦，我就係非常反對咧，你哋喺呢個開設呢個大麻店嘅營運嘅，亦都我想你澄清一下咧，對於呢個嘅 YES 咧，你話你係會係同我哋合作，同埋佢俾呢個嘅支持佢哋，但係佢哋其實係冇收過，我亦都係去問過嘅時候，佢哋係冇收過你哋任何一啲嘅話同你哋任何嘅合作或者協助嘅喎。Okay.
I specifically refer to a conversation with Jane Leung personally, where she said that she did not understand any intended donation to come with a condition, number one. Number two, she specifically told me that she has not given any support. I don't know who at YES has given them support. Maybe they should know about this.
咁我再補充一下啦，就話咧，首先咧，佢哋就冇為收過任何你哋嗰啲所謂嘅捐助或者支持。第二，佢哋係冇講過佢哋會支持你哋嘅大麻店開始嘅營運嘅喎。
Okay, so I've had James Chan here. I've had conversations with Jane Leung, and yes, it's not for any give for support. It wasn't for us to give her money for her to support us. It was that I told her the location that we're going to be at, that we're applying for, and we're looking to work with them on their underage drinking and drug abuse program, and that they're not in opposition to our location, and that they will work with us and willing to work with us on their programming and take donation from us.
Hey, she specifically gave you or told you that she supports the location, which is on the slide given by Andrea in public.
我可唔可以翻譯一下先啊？咁咧，阿陳先生就話咧，我本身咧就同呢個 G 量咧就有一個嘅傾過偈咧，佢就話我哋俾咗我哋嗰個嘅營運嗰個嘅地點佢咧就佢就係話佢冇話反對嘅，會同我哋咧一定係磋商或者合作嘅。咁係啦。
Well, something is going on here because at least one organization have indicated to Rebecca or somebody, through somebody to Rebecca that there was no support. And now I hear from Jane directly and personally that there was no support given and there was no condition for the intended donation. Something is going on.
Lisa, if I may.
Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Chan. I do not believe there was anywhere in the slide that we stated that they supported the location or anything. We just said these are the groups that we're going to be working with, knowing who the groups were.
I think if you look at the slide immediately following.
Let Stuart translate, please.
咁咧，我哋嗰個嘅法律顧問咧，佢就話啦，Sullivan 先生就話咧，我哋其實冇話過我哋呢啲嘅團體咧係會係支持我哋只不過話咧，我哋係會同佢哋合作，去幫助佢哋嘅。
I want to go back to the slide immediately following the working with.
咁或者我哋可以翻去睇翻嗰個嘅幻燈片啦，咁睇下你哋嗰個之前係講嗰啲乜嘢啊？
I think it's the next slide down, maybe.
The slide, yeah. Who are in support of our location and business in their neighborhood. Mr. Sullivan, have you paid attention to your own presentation?
I apologize, Mr. Chan. I was looking at the slide before this.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
佢話 Sullivan 先生，唔該你睇清楚你哋嗰啲嘅資料顯示，你哋係點樣寫？
Thank you, Paul. We will put that comment down. And then if you have any further questions or concerns, please let me know and I'll work with the applicant on getting that answer to you. And everything here tonight will be on record and the board will be seeing this as well.
多謝陳家華先生嘅提問。如果你有進一步嘅提問或者意見呢，歡迎同我哋接觸，我哋會進一步解答你嘅問題。同埋今晚嗰個會議呢，會喺我哋嘅錄製嘅，咁係有呢個記錄在案嘅。
Thank you.
Just to clarify, her conversation with me was that she does not oppose that location.
我想澄清一下呢，佢係冇話過反對呢，我哋喺嗰個嘅地點嗰個地址嗰度係營運嘅。
Can you please tell me that not opposing and supporting are two different things?
你可唔可以解釋一下？唔反對同埋支持係兩回事嚟嘅噃。
Okay, we'll move forward. I will now unmute Debbie Ho. Debbie, you have the floor.
好，我哋下一個我哋有阿 Debbie 咧係發問嘅。
Hi, I'm from Chinatown Main Street. So you stated a couple items that Paul Chen has stated, that Boston YES was approached and they support you. And then you gladly put on donations to Boston YES. So, and then you put on another donation to the Boston Theater, whoever they are, don't know who they are. They're not even in the community. So why would you ever do that?
咁阿 Debbie 咧都話咧，你之前咧就係講話呢個嘅用即係 YES 呢個名啦。咁另外你亦都有啲團體咧都係唔係同我哋社區有關嘅喎。咁你又用佢哋個名，你點解咁做咧？
And not only you haven't even approached the safety committee meeting before this public meeting, and you've never have had a meeting with the Chinatown Neighborhood Council before this meeting, which and the Residents Association, Chinatown Residents Association. So I'm not sure exactly where this whole project is going.
佢話咧，你都冇同我哋區內。
I'm sorry, Anna. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry 啊。咁佢話你都冇同人哋區內一啲嘅組織咧去接觸啦，同我哋開會，好似華埠居民會啦、華埠主街去接觸啦，或者係我哋其他嘅一啲嘅會議咧，你都係冇同我哋去有一個嘅溝通嘅機會咯。我唔係好知你今晚嘅會議其實係想做乜嘢。Thank you.
Lisa, if I may.
Go ahead.
I have 2 letters signed by a Jane Lung, Executive Director from Boston Asian Youth Essential Services, agreeing to take donations from Royalty Group. The reason they were approached is they are not only in the local community, servicing programs.
Andrea, maybe you want to explain those 2 donations because of CPC.
That's my next point.
Before we go there, could we have a copy of that letter, please?
You can have copies of both of them, absolutely.
咁咧，等我翻譯下先嚇。咁咧 ，Andrea 就話咧，我有封信咧，就係表明咗咧，梁女士咧，佢係接受係 YES 嗰個團體咧係接受我哋嘅捐助嘅。咁有一個提問就話，我哋可唔可以有呢個嘅呢封信嘅副本啊？可唔可以俾我哋睇嘅 ？Andrea 就冇問題。
Also, you stated that you coordinated with the Boston Police Department. In what way?
I have not mentioned anything about the Boston Police Department.
So Paul, there's a statement that they are coordinating with Boston PD, but didn't state in what way they were coordinating with them.
That's fine. Let me go back to what I was finishing answering your previous question. The Boston Youth Essential Services is located in a disproportionate impact area from the war on drugs designated by the Cannabis Control Commission. They have agreed to partner in donations for us that we are required to give to nonprofits in these areas for nothing in return, just that they qualify to receive donations from cannabis companies because of where they're located.
咁我解釋一下啦，翻譯一下啦。咁 Andrea 佢哋就問你哋又話你哋有同警察部好似有聯繫，佢話你會同我哋合作，咁你係咩意思啊？咁 Andrea 就話咧，佢哋係一個團體咧，就因為佢喺嗰個嘅地段嗰度咧，所以咧佢哋就係接受咧係接受我哋嗰個捐助嘅。
Can I say it again? Andrea, you have mentioned that there is a donation, a letter that they received a donation, or they will accept the donation. But does the letter indicate they are in support of the donation, as it is represented in your slide that everybody just saw? That's a very different story there. My understanding from Andrea, my understanding very specific from Jane is that she did not know, and she was not told that there was any protocol for the donation, and she has not specifically given any.
我好快咁解釋一下，佢話你而家好似做緊啲嘢，好似有呢個利益衝突嘅喎，你可唔可以解釋一下？
So I think there is a confusion between two things. There's one that the letter that Boston Asian YS and Box Center is for receiving donations. That's part of the Cannabis Control Commission's application to identify two nonprofits in a disproportionately affected area to receive annual donations. That's one. That's the $25,000 annually donation. The second donation is something that we're doing outside of that as part of the community benefits, and that was on another slide where we will be working with Boston Asian YS on their programming, and we'll donate to them monetarily as well to help with that programming. So it's two different things.
Okay, go. 咁我去解釋翻譯下，咁其實兩樣唔同嘢嚟，第一咧就係一個直接捐助啦，咁其實就係由呢個大麻控制委員會咧係去鼓勵我哋咧，我哋係咁做，係幫助一啲嘅團體咧，佢哋係受因為喺呢個嘅或者係佢哋嗰個嘅團體或者佢哋關注嘅人員咧，係因為呢個濫藥啊或者呢個嘅問題影響嘅，咁我哋就有呢個嘅捐助就係25,000蚊嘅每一年係俾佢哋。咁另外咧另外一個捐助咧，另外一個係另外一樣嘢嚟嘅。
May I respond? That is you're fulfilling your requirements. It has nothing to do with Daniel agreeing to support the location. Unless you can produce something specifically in writing, I do not believe that you are presenting the facts well in your slide.
The slide doesn't say that they're in opposition or non-opposition or their position at all. We are saying we are going to contribute to them. There's nothing there that says anything about their position, just that we've engaged with them and they are
It does. It said they supported your project. It does clearly say.
Please go back to slide 24. Can you go back to slide 24?
I have letters of non-opposition from the Wang Theater. I have non-opposition from the Masonic Temple.
Can you read this, please? Royalty Group has spoken directly to local organizations who are in support of our location and business in their neighborhood.
好啊，唔該你咧睇清楚你哋嗰個幻燈片嘅介紹啊，咁你哋其實你之前去，唔該你澄清一下，其實你哋係講緊啲乜嘢咧？你哋即係嗰啲，佢話之前佢話佢哋唔反對，唔代表係支持喎。
Thank you, everyone. I'll communicate this to the board and share the slide with the board and share the comments to the board as well. And then get back to you about it afterwards. Okay, Paul?
Thank you.
Thank you. And then next, I will unmute Rose Boardman. Rose, you are unmuted.
Hi, Lisa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, great. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rose Boardman. I work for the Downtown Boston Business Improvement District, and I am here representing the Downtown Boston bid tonight. We know, as you did in your presentation, that this location is within the buffer zone surrounding another cannabis establishment operated by Patriot Care located at 21 Milk Street. And for that reason, we oppose this proposal, this location. Thank you.
好，咁我翻譯下先。咁咧，佢就話你好，我係Downtown嗰個嘅商業委員會嘅代表嚟嘅。咁咧，我係表達我意見咧，係反對你哋喺申請喺呢個地址咧，係營運你哋嗰個大麻商店嘅，因為咧，你哋嗰個嘅地址咧，其實就喺個緩衝嗰個嘅地段嗰度咧，係好接近21 Milton 街嗰個另外一個商店嘅，所以我喺呢度咧就係表達我係我哋嗰個機構係反對你哋嗰個嘅開設大麻商店嘅營運。多謝。
Thank you, Rose. Your comment will be relayed to the board.
Lisa, there's also another question from Debbie earlier. Can I answer one?
What was the question? Can you restate it again?
She had mentioned that we didn't go to Chinatown Residents Association, that we didn't go to the Chinatown Neighborhood Council or reach out to any other organizations. Just wanted to clarify, we did go to the Chinatown Residents Association. We did go to the Chinatown Neighborhood Council. And Andrea has been attending the Chinatown Safety Committee pretty regularly. And I'm pretty sure she already had a conversation with them. So we did present to those organizations in the neighborhood.
As well as Midtown Park Plaza Neighborhood Association, both of those for years now. Thank you.
OK， 咁我解釋一下啦。咁陳偉文先生咧就想去澄清一下咧。之前咧Debbie 咧就問咗個問題，就話你哋都冇去呢個 CRA 居民會嘅meeting亦都冇去呢個嘅唐人街呢個嘅鄰里嗰個嘅委員會嘅會議啦，亦都冇去呢個安全社區會議喎。咁咧陳先生就話啦，其實有㗎 ，Andrea 咧佢哋其實咧有同呢啲嘅會議去接觸嘅。咁佢亦都 Andrea 亦都去咗好多次嗰個嘅安全社區會議嘅，同埋Andrea 亦都去咗個 Midtown 嗰個嘅另外一個社區會議，去咗好多次㗎啦。唔該。
Yeah, according to some of the residents, nothing was presented to them.
咁但係佢話居民話你哋冇去介紹任何你哋關於你哋嘅商店嗰個人員嘅介紹噃。
Did we have emails with like confirmation with our agenda on their monthly meetings?
I have dates for the presentations, if you'd like them.
I can send it to Debbie afterwards, and now I'll unmute Richard Chang. Richard, you are unmuted.
咁Andrea 話咧，佢係可以有介紹。
Let's get through today. I mean tomorrow, and then get firm clarification, and then if necessary, we use tomorrow to communicate. We're on remote until further notice, right?
Richard?
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Am I on now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. See, I'm going to have to head off. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Believe it or not, we have, I apologize. We have a little bit of an emergency, but I'll get back to that. So I just wanted to get three technical issues. One is, so on the question of the community support, I think the point is simply that the mere fact of receiving a donation should not be construed as support. Okay, so again, I put it for the record. Josiah Quincy Upper School will receive your $10,000 donation if you want to give it to us. Okay, I don't have any problems with that, but I'm going to come out in opposition. So it's not. I don't think you can equate receiving donation. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the fiduciary responsibility of the board of a charitable organization cannot put a strings on it. So in other words, I believe a charitable organization must receive if it's a legal contribution. I don't think they have discretion in that situation. So anyway, so I think it's very important to distinguish that and not construe receiving the money as support. Okay, after all, Karl Marx said that the capitalists will sell the rope by which they hang. So anyways, my second point is on the question of the procedural tactic or strategy. So in working with, let's say, electric bill signage and other hearings, it's a common tactic for petitioners to delay, withdraw, reschedule at the last minute. And typically, there's a sense of, seeing what the attendance is going to be, reading the room, and then looking for the opportune time to strike and then get the petition through. So I'm going to ask for a commitment that the royalty group will abide by the first given date for the hearing, because it takes a lot of effort on our part to get our community members. People have to really make sacrifices to make time. And so I got 540 families, and my credibility is on the line if I ask them to show up and then it gets canceled, right? It's like the boy who cried wolf. So I'm going to ask for a commitment to abide by that first date and not be shopping for the best time. So that's, I'm wondering if I can get that commitment. It's a yes or no question.
Royalty group can commit to dates, but if those dates get changed by the municipality, for which we have no control over, then how do you perceive that change? Would you perceive that as me not keeping my commitment, or would you understand that that's out of our control?
Yeah, no, I get it. If it's the authority, say the docket is full, we can't hear your case, fine, I get that. But oftentimes it is presented that the petitioner has withdrawn and want to be reconsidered at a later time. So if that's a procedural posture, then I think we will interpret that as the tactic of shopping for a better time to get the application through. Okay, so I yes, if it's beyond your control in terms of the control board, sure, we get
Fair
that.
enough.
But otherwise,
I commit to keeping the date that they give us. If you can commit to accepting that if it changes because of their municipality scheduling or compliances or whatever, then I can commit to it as well.
Thank you.
okay, all right, and then the third point is. Sorry, the third point is if you can give the measurement for the distance of the Stuart Street location to all three of my campus locations. I put it in the chat box. That would be 900 Washington, 152 Arlington, and 8 Oak Street. So you don't have to do it right this second. That one you can provide to me offline if you want, but I would like that, kind of affirmative statement.
I actually have a survey photo that was done by a survey company. If you look on the presentation, slide 4, it gives dimensions and the distance via survey on slide 4. I'm happy to send that to you by itself, or you can, again, reference slide 4 that has that in it already.
Right. All three of my campus locations, does that include 8 Oak Street as well?
I thought you were looking for the distance within the buffer. I apologize. So if you send me the information, I will have the survey company send you the distance.
Okay, I got it. I'll just conclude and just say, look, it's nothing personal, but I've got 94% of my kids who are going off to colleges now. These are immigrant kids, and this year, literally this month, they're getting accepted to Babson, BCBU, Brandeis, Cornell, Johns Hopkins, Morehouse, Northeastern, Tufts, Vanderbilt, and Yale. Okay, these are kids that if any of them gets derailed, if just one gets derailed because of substance addiction, and marijuana being one of them that could potentially at least trip up one of them. Why I know this because we work with YES, by the way. You know, they're partners of ours. And as far as just YES, I'll just say this, okay? We community members, or at least I've had conversation with other community members, we did not want to put Jane, Leon, and YES in a difficult position. We have no problem with her receiving the funds, and she just needs to stay neutral. But if you're going to force us, if you're going to make a statement that by receiving the funds is going to be tantamount to support, then you know what? I'm going to take responsibility, and we'll get Jane that $10,000 in some other way. Okay, so please don't put her and don't put us in that position. Okay, I don't have a problem if you say you're making donation 10,000, period, but do not use that word support, because if you force that, then I will work with my other community leaders to get her that $10,000. We'll indemnify her. We'll hold her harmless. We want her to get that money, but I think the understanding is that receiving the funds is a neutral proposition. It doesn't mean opposition, and it doesn't mean support. It's just neutral. And I think I personally am okay with that. And I do want her to get the money. But again, please don't force me and my fellow leaders to have to take the action where she's going to, I think she's going to work with us if you force that. Because I don't think she wants to come out affirmatively in support. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Richard, if I may.
Yes.
Richard, if I may. In listening to you and listening to the others and reading the slide and hearing your concerns, it is my responsibility to have directed the slide differently. There are organizations on here for which I have non-opposition letters and are receiving donation, and there are others that are not in for, not against, but will be receiving donations as well. I should have segregated them. I did not realize wording it together would cause this confusion. So I apologize, and I take full responsibility for them being grouped together. So I am going to change this slide and update it and post it with the presentation on the website. And I am happy to send you the letters of non-opposition as well as donation accepting, because they are not mutually exclusive. You do not have to agree to my location to receive donation. They are not mutually exclusive, and it was not required, and I was never forcing anyone. I categorized everything together, and that's on me, and I apologize. I will correct that.
Andrea and Richard,
thank you.
To have that conversation aside, and that Richard, I'll contact you later. Anna just needs to interpret that, and then we have two other coming in.
Got it. We're happy to receive the money as well.
I will try to capture as much as possible. 咁我哋有Queen 市中學個校長咧咁咧佢就講咧，其實咧我哋都知道，我哋都可能會收到1萬蚊嘅捐助嘅。我哋又好歡迎咧，你俾呢個1萬蚊嘅捐助我哋，但係我哋唔代表係支持你嘅喎。收到接受捐助同埋去支持你嘅大麻商店，認為係兩回事嚟嘅喎。我亦都唔希望咧，你係將呢個嘅壓力咧係俾YES 呢個團體入邊啦，因為咧其實佢哋都係想得到捐助，但係我唔想咧你係混亂，有呢個混亂視聽，係俾人知道咧，我哋就算你係俾捐助同埋去支持你嘅大麻，認為係兩回事嚟嘅喎。 咁同埋咧，我想知道咧，你可以話俾我聽，你嗰個嘅選址同我嘅學校其實係距離係有幾遠咧？咁我可以俾我學校嗰個地址你嘅。咁你就98號華盛頓街。咁你話俾我聽，其實你同我間學校咧係個距離係幾遠嘅？你知唔知道咧？我哋今年咧有94個百分比嘅學生咧係上咗好好嘅大學啊，有啲全部都好優質嘅大學㗎喎。你知唔知如果佢哋係任何人，如果係因為濫藥，尤其是大麻嘅問題，係行唔到佢哋應該行嘅好嘅路嘅時候咧，你話係一個好大嘅問題，係咪？所以我哋一定要係好關注呢個嘅大麻呢個問題。咁同埋我唔希望講翻之前嗰點啦，我唔希望將我哋 YES 嗰個負責人咧係你要佢選擇係支持抑或反對，因為其實係唔恰當嘅。咁啊 Andrea 咧就話咧唔好意思，其實咧有兩類嘅捐助，有一類嘅捐助咧就係俾捐助係唔需要支持嘅，咁咧係唔需要話表態支持嘅。咁只不過我係將佢啲嘅呢啲嘅非牟利機構去講解嘅時候咧，我係有啲混亂嘅啫，真係唔好意思嚇。咁咧，阿 Lisa 就話：咁或者你哋之後喺呢個會議之後，你哋可以再去溝通，有啲乜嘢嘅問題咧，你哋可以去再溝通咧，再表態同埋再解決啦。Thank you.
Thank you. And then now I'll have Peggy in. She is calling in. Peggy, you are unmuted.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Peggy Ings, and I am going to just ask a couple of updated questions for all the folks who are in attendance can get some clarification. Is the building sold yet?
No.
我想問呢個係，sorry，我叫 Peggy 啦。其實我想問一個好簡單嘅問題，澄清一下嗰個嘅而家嗰個嘅大廈咧，嗰個地址係咪已經係被賣咗㗎啦？Andrea 就未賣嘅。Okay.
So in fact, they may not be a tenant in this building because they don't have a new owner yet. Is that correct?
咁即係話，其實根本就係冇租客，因為佢都冇一個嘅業主係負責，係咪？
I'm misunderstanding your question. I don't know how to answer that, Peggy.
我唔係好明你問題問咩喎？你可唔可以問清楚啲啊？
Well, I think I'll just say, for saving time and let other people speak, I think we can see that, unfortunately for you, because you've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort in trying to bring this to some sort of a conclusion. But it is fraught with unknowns and uncertainty. You don't even know who the new owner will be. You don't even know if you'll be in that building if they don't want you as a tenant. And this, by the way, your license doesn't go, it doesn't get transferred if it's on this building. These licenses do not get transferred to another location. That's a fact. Also, you don't have a lease yet. You have an LOI, correct? That's a letter of intent. But I believe that's non-binding. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't have a lease. So I think we're looking at a project that is come forward, but not really prepared enough to go any further. I believe that this project has so many more processes. Just the historic piece alone, just that piece, you have to get approvals from the Boston Landmark Commission, the Boston Historic Commission. It's also, as you mentioned earlier, and I'm happy to hear that you did, it's on the National Register of Historic Places, and it's as an individual building. All of these entities have to approve this change, and the change is a hurdle. You are in a building where the interior landmarking is for restaurant use. You're not a restaurant. That's not going to be what you're going to build out. So I don't know how you can go forward and keep thinking this is going to be a recreational marijuana center, store, when all of these hurdles haven't even been looked at. No lease, no owner. I mean, it's just nothing is coming together. The community pieces here as well. I know you've been very diligent in trying to get to as many groups as you have, and you did come to the Midtown Park Plaza Neighborhood Association, and we thank you for that. But you haven't been back, so we haven't been able to take any votes, and we would love to see you. And you've tried to do that, but then COVID hit and all the rest, and you are in a process, and I highly, highly respect the process. So I just think that it's the wrong location for all those reasons, but also as a vice president at Emerson College, the college has to oppose this. It's right behind us. And I don't think that you have all of your ducks anywhere in a row to take care of college students and the security system when all of these issues that I brought up have not even begun to be tackled. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to your next presentation when maybe you can answer a lot more of these questions. But thank you for your time, and thank you to the chair for the time to let me speak. Thanks, Lisa.
And please translate, and I'm going to respond after. Thank
OK，
you.
咁佢話咧，首先有好多個問題咧，我覺得你喺呢個地點嗰度咧，根本就係未解決嘅。首先咧，你咧就係基本上咧就係冇，似乎你仲未有一個租約咧係已經係得到嘅，只不過你係你有一個發展嘅發展目的嘅文件啦。咁相信呢個好似冇呢個法律嘅約束嘅喎。咁同埋咧，似乎你係好想咧趁呢啲機會咧去做一個嘅結論咧，就係話你係已經係可以去到下一步嘅，但係其實你係好似忽視咗咧喺呢個嘅地點上面咧，佢係有好多嘅，尤其是喺嗰個嘅文化保育上面咧，嗰個嘅建築物咧，其實係有一個嘅文化嘅保育嘅意義啦。有好多個團體咧，因為佢亦都係呢個國家喺美國嗰度係呢個嘅地點咧係視為咧係一個文化保育嘅一個嘅建築物嘅，所以你其實有好多個過程咧，你係需要去經過嘅。似乎你咧係我唔知你會佢哋會唔會批准你啦，但係似乎其實你仲有好長嘅路要行嘅時候咧，你其實都係真係未預備喺呢個嘅地方咧，係真係可以做到呢一個嘅申請嘅營運嘅。咁同埋咧，我知道你亦都去咗我哋嗰個嘅 Midtown 嗰個嘅會議啦。咁我多謝你，但係你之後就冇翻嚟咯，因為 Covid 嗰個嘅疫症嘅發生啦，咁你就翻唔到嚟啦。我哋希望你翻嚟嘅時候，我哋係可以進一步嘅投票嘅。咁但係我想總結一下，就係你話呢一個嘅地點咧，其實係一個錯誤嘅一個選址去營運呢一個嘅大麻商店嘅。我作為呢個亞馬遜呢個嘅副總裁咧，我係表態係反對你係經營呢個大麻商店嘅。Thank you.
So Peggy, in response, I have a binding LOI giving me rights to the property while I go through the city municipality processes to see if I can get licensed. If I can get licensed, then I will be able to bring on a real estate person who will invest into the building for its monetary needs in order to be restored. I will also be able to then find an investment partner for that location. If I've learned anything in all my works in the industry thus far with paying leases, paying rents, paying all these landlords money and putting all these monies into projects and then not having things work out and then losing all that hundreds of thousands of dollars, I've learned in this situation that I need to have a license for a profitable business before anyone is going to put any money into this. If I don't get licensed, then there's no project for me. I am protecting my team and our finances because we are self-funded from family and friends, no investors. to make sure that if we get licensed, we can move forward. If we don't, then we don't. And the building will probably stay empty and it will not be restored, and who knows what will happen to it. My goal is to get licensed to be able to sell the project to a real estate investor who's into historical buildings, team up with a Boston Historical Association, and be able to fund the project of restoration through my business at that location.
I just want to point out you have none of that in place, period.
Yes, I do.
You just said you were looking for an investor. You were looking for someone that will pour into this money. You were looking for someone who was going to come after you get your license. You said
correct,
you
and I have engaged with multiple philanthropists, real estate moguls that deal with historical buildings. I've engaged with War-Based Associates in making sure that I engage with the proper Boston agencies for historical buildings, and everyone has said to me, sure, Andrea, if you get licensed, then we'll talk. But I've at least done my homework, have those ducks in a row, and upon receiving licensure, I can then move forward with this building and this project. No one's going to invest anything without a profitable business in place.
Well, I wanted the audience to know you just don't have that in place. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
咁我想翻譯一下佢哋之間個溝通啦。咁咧嗰個發言人咧，嗰個嘅市民咧就話啦，其實我覺得今日你就未預備好咧做呢個嘅生意嘅，因為你根本就係冇好好嘅呢個計劃去下一步咁樣。咁 Andrea 其實我有嘅，我就希望咧可以得到呢個許可證啦。咁我就一步步咧係希望可以然之後咧就要申請好多唔同嘅我需要嘅文件咧，咁就一步步咧就去營運呢一個公司嘅。咁咧個市民就話，我就全覺得你係唔會做到呢樣嘢嘅。咁多謝大家。
Thank you all. I know these meetings are very sensitive, and I know we cannot get through all the questions, but we actually got through most of them, and I just wanted to read Learner Liu's comment and question. He wanted to ask me to read it. There are many homeless people wandering around Chinatown. They repeatedly drink alcohol and use drugs in the public. Even though police arrest people every month, such things keep happening every month.
OK。咁咧我想翻譯下先。咁咧阿 Lisa 就話咧，我哋知我哋今晚會係好長，咁我哋都未必聽到所有人嘅訴求，但係我係想喺一個聊天室嗰度咧，有人係呢一段嘅文字，我係想讀出嚟嘅，就係話咧我哋喺唐人街咧好多時，我哋見到好多人都飲醉酒，亦都喺度落唐人街嗰度流連，不斷喺度飲酒，同埋係使用毒品喺公眾嘅地方。就算係警察去拉佢哋每一個月，但係佢哋呢啲每一個月亦都仍然係發生嘅。咁我哋話佢話佢話我哋係有一啲嘅安全嘅系統。咁佢話其實do whatever they want。咁佢話我哋其實點去these people don't care about police。佢哋根本就係漠視係警察嗰個嘅安全嘅指引，亦都係唔理嘅。呢啲事係其實不斷係發生。我哋有好多呢啲人咧，都話喺唐人街嗰度咧吸毒啊，同埋係飲酒嘅。
And the second part, Anna already translated, but what to do if these people don't care about police or whatever security system you have and just do whatever they want to and consume your product in the public. Anna already translated that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Andrea, if you don't mind, I would like to take that one. I've been, doing security and working in that area for over 20 years. And I'm also a drug and anger management counselor. And I would like to reassure Richard and Peggy, because, I've dealt with kids in concerts from Emerson and kids from around that neighborhood. And even some of the older kids, if you look in their phone, you'll probably find my phone number from where I ask them to call me when they get home or text me so I know they got home safely. Mainly because I'm a father before all of this. So I understand everybody's concern. However, I really would wish people would look into the facts and look into what is actually going in there. And as far as the security goes, and with people doing what they want anyway, statistically, marijuana wouldn't be a problem as far as like telling someone to walk away. I would much rather deal with that than deal with someone who has been intoxicated from alcohol. It's just anyone who's ever dealt with any type of security would inform you that. And I think the police would agree with me also. That's just my opinion, but I do believe they would. I'll allow you to translate that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Terence, right?
Yes.
Yeah，咁我哋翻嚟啊 ，Terence 講嘅佢就係呢個團隊嘅安全總監啦。佢就話其實咧，我自己本身咧都係一個父親，我亦都係咧亦都係幫助好多青年人咧係一個輔導嘅。好多時你會見到佢哋都會打電話俾我，知道佢哋係翻咗屋企未啊？即係係咪安全呀？其實我哋最緊要咧係睇一睇個事實，其實。你話嗰啲人會任意妄為去做一啲嘅漠視呢個嘅安全同埋保安嘅措施咧，其實我覺得係唔會嘅。大麻其實未必會係一個最大嘅問題，比起一啲嘅醉酒啊或者其他咧，係呢個問題咧，其實係唔會咁嚴重嘅。咁我亦都有好多年嘅經驗啦，可以同大家去即係講呢啲嘅數據顯示咧，其實咧大麻咧係唔比即係飲酒啊或者係其他嘅問題咧係嚴重嘅。Thank you.
I also wanted to address the whole thing about being homeless and everything else. There's a reason why I'm so passionate about, when I did do drug and anger management counseling, I worked with the Elijah Baker House. I worked with a Caribbean U-Turn, which is no longer there. Teaching and, doing outreach work for at-risk youth. But I've also worked with the homeless because at one point in my life, I was homeless and a single dad. So I know what it is to pull yourself up from your bruise. I'll allow you to translate that.
OK， 咁我亦都其實想同大家分享咧，你哋講到呢啲無家可歸嘅問題啦，咁其實我自己亦都係即係好對好多嘅機構啦，好似有個叫 Bigger House 嗰個嘅機構，我都係好成日幫手嘅。其實我自己。亦都係因為我對呢啲無家可歸嘅問題咁關注，係因為我之前自己亦都試過無家可歸。我之前亦都係一個嘅單親嘅爸爸嘅時候，我好了解到點樣係由呢個嘅呢個問題扶翻自己起身，可以重新嘅振作，所以我可以同大家講呢啲嘅經歷。
Thank you. Just wanted to state that I know there's more questions and will be more questions and comments later on. Just wanted to let you know this is an open period, comment period, and that you still have a lot of time to still send comments to the board, or if you have any questions, send it to me or the applicant themselves, and we will coordinate that communication. Anna?
好嘅，咁啊 Lisa 就話咧，我哋而家咧就係一個嘅公眾嘅諮詢期咧，咁咧我哋知道我哋唔能夠解答所有人嘅意見喺今晚嘅會議上面，咁咧所以你哋有進一步嘅問題咧，請你哋同我哋去聯繫，咁我哋會收集所有人嘅問題同埋意見咧，係會記錄在案，同埋會盡量解答你哋嘅問題嘅，多謝。
And my email and phone number are placed on the comment box, but just verbally telling you it's Lisa, Lisa .hy@boston.gov or 617-635-3891. And I've also included the Boston Cannabis Board email. If you need that, please give me a call or email me.
咁啊 Lisa 話咧，咁我嘅電話咧同埋電郵咧都喺呢個嘅聊天室嗰度噶啦，但係我可以讀俾大家聽，就係LISA.YU 一個嘅 app 嗰個啦，BOSTON 然之後點一點 GOV 嘅，咁電話就係617-635-3891嘅，咁你歡迎同佢聯繫嘅，咁佢呢個資料亦都喺呢個嘅聊天室嗰度打咗出嚟嘅啦，咁佢亦都係擺埋你波士頓大麻協會嗰個電郵地址就係 CANNABISBOARD 一個 at 啦，就波士頓 BOSTON 點 GOV。 如果大家聽唔切嘅咧，唔緊要，你睇呢個嘅聊天室咧就打咗出嚟㗎啦。
如果係講廣東話嘅話咧，我係英文轉去中文係難啲嘅，所以但係我係可以講中文嘅。如果你要同我講中文嘅話咧，你可以直接打俾我，我就可以同你傾。And then just finally, I just have one more person that has a question. And then just wanted to let you know this meeting is recorded. So please let me know if you need access to it. And I will send it to you. And as I stated, my email and phone number as well. And so then you don't have to stay any longer.
咁同埋咧，呢個會議咧係已經被錄影㗎啦，所以你需要我哋呢個嘅會議嘅片段或者嗰個嘅嗰個 video 咧，我哋可以隨時 send 俾你嘅。咁你嘅聯絡我，咁我就歡迎係 send 俾你。咁萬一你要係唔想留喺度咁耐呢個會議嘅時候咧，我哋係明白嘅。多謝。
And now I will unmute Nancy Lowe. Nancy, 1 second. Nancy, you are unmuted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know if you were going to call on me, but I did say in my chat that I have some concerns about this application and the misrepresentation that has, being presented with the support. Also, I feel that the applicant fails to recognize that her business is not just in an area with restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. It is in a neighborhood with many families and Chinatown residents and elderly that frequent the area. There's school buses that do drop off in the area. There's people that going back and forth to Chinatown and to restaurants. I mean, Chinatown was here before the nightclubs, before the restaurants, before the combat zone, and people want to forget that we exist. So I think it's important that the applicant recognize that she's in a neighborhood and she should reach out and properly represent the people that are in this community.
好嘅，咁咧Nancy Low 咧，佢就表態咧，就話咧，我對於我哋嗰個申請人咧，佢係好有懷疑嘅。我覺得佢今日嘅介紹咧係充滿誤導嘅成分啦。咁其實咧，佢要認知到佢嗰個嘅大麻商店嗰個開設咧，唔單止係喺一個嘅社區嗰度，其實佢亦都喺好多個家庭啊，佢嗰個商店嘅開設唔係淨係喺一個嘅餐館啊，或者做生意嘅地方，佢亦都喺一個社區，亦都喺一個好多家庭同埋學生嘅一個圍繞個環境入邊，佢一定要去同佢需要嘅人去接觸，同埋去認知呢一個嘅問題，亦都係咧，其實唐人街喺呢啲嘅其他嘅商戶係建立之前咧，喺嗰個嘅 combat zone 以前嗰個嘅叫戰鬥區啦，其實已經係存在㗎啦。所以咧，佢一定要係重新咧去知道，其實佢呢一個嘅申請咧，其實係唔適合。Thank you.
Nancy, if I may, I do recognize that I am trying to locate a business of this caliber in a neighborhood that has schools and residences, and they also are located in a metropolitan city where everything co-locates together. And I know that Chinatown, I do recognize Chinatown, and they are a constituent in this, as I have hired James Chan from day one to help me work with the Chinatown community. I've attended multiple Chinatown meetings. I have acknowledged Chinatown from day one. And a translator that makes our meetings 3 hours long to make sure that the Chinatown community is covered.
咁Andrea 亦都話咧，其實我對呢個華埠嘅認知咧係比你認為咧係深切知道嘅。我亦都係知道我嗰個嘅生意嘅營運咧，喺呢個嘅學校啦，喺呢個好多嘅市民咧，係嗰個圍繞當中嘅。其實係一個大都市入邊啦，我哋係互相共同嘅生存嘅。咁我第一日咧就已經係請咗陳偉文先生咧做我嗰個嘅顧問啦，因為我係想 佢可以幫助我同華埠進一步嘅溝通與接觸啦。我哋亦都係今晚嘅會議都係請咗個翻譯員，係所以呢個會議變咗3個鐘頭嘅長，就係因為我哋有翻譯嘅服務。Thank you.
Thank you. I just have 2 more questions, very short questions, if the applicant can answer. 我仲有2個問題係有2個人係發問嘅。Esther asked, where are the nearest cannabis shops to this location?
19. Go ahead, Anna.
Sorry, Esther 就問咧，其實我想知道咧喺附近有邊度係最近嘅一間大麻嘅商店咧？
19 Milk Street. I believe, unless Walter needs to correct me, but as far as I know, the only up and operational one now currently is 19 Milk Street.
That is the only one that's there, but we have the south end, we have, I'm sorry, Anna, I apologize.
It's okay. 咁咧，Andrew 就話咧係19屋街嘅，咁啊 Walter 就話係啦。以我所知咧，就係依家就係係一個而家正式營運緊嘅一個嘅大麻商店。OK。
There are others moving forward on Newbury Street, in Roxbury, Mattapan, other parts of the city, but the closest one to this location is Patriot Care on Milk Street.
Oh, Milk Street, not Oak Street.
Milk.
Sorry. 唔好意思啊，頭先我聽到咧就係屋街，佢係牛奶街19牛奶街嘅。咁咧佢話其實咧呢個就係而家營運緊嘅。咁另外咧有啲咧嘅大麻商店咧就希望係開設咧亦都喺 Newbury 街或者係 Mattapan 嗰度附近嘅。Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And another question from John is that what are the hours of operation? John 問咗你幾時開門同埋幾時關門？
Go ahead, Anna.
This is a translator. 你哋嘅營業時間係幾時？
The proposed hours of operation are 10 to 8.
我哋營運時間係朝頭早10點鐘至夜晚8點鐘。
Thank you. I believe we actually answered all or most or all the questions or everyone that's raised their hand. If you have any other further questions, please feel free to call or email me, and I will definitely reach back out to you.
咁我相信我哋解答晒所有嘅問題啦。咁如果你哋有進一步嘅問題咧，咁咧就同我哋接觸啦。咁多謝大家今日參與會議。
Thank you.
Thank you.
多謝晒。